So I moved out of my storage unit last week. Previously, I'd been storing all of this stuff in an off-site storage unit in Brooklyn, but I recently moved to Queens and it's just no longer close enough to my apartment to really be worth it. And I also realized there was a lot of stuff in there that I wasn't really using for on set. Basically, it was just kind of drop-off point for myself or assistants to just kind of throw stuff after a shoot. It was totally disorganized. I didn't know what was in there, and I thought it might be better if I can try to organize, purge, and try to fit everything into my apartment. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to show you guys, since usually I myself at least don't have the time to organize my kit ever before and after shoots. So what tends to happen is that a lot of stuff gets accumulated, it all gets kind of disorganized, and I thought today would be a really good time to show you what I'm doing to organize it, because organization videos are satisfying, but also to show you little tips and tricks I've learned along the way, what I have in my kit, what I think you need and don't need in your kit, and yeah, just little things that may help you that I can't remember having ever really been taught, just learning as I go. So here's everything. I bought new clear bins. The other materials I have are just some stuff to clean. These aren't sanitizing, but these are just regular wipes. A label maker. It seems really extra and annoying, but it's really good to write your name and department on all the stuff that is gear related. So I just write Hannah Cattell and costumes, and I just label this on everything that is a gear item rather than an expendable item. So the difference between a gear, like an iron, is gear. This isn't gonna get used up. You're not gonna replace this unless it breaks. This is gear. You should put your name on it. This stuff, like spray starch, this is an expendable. Once this is used up, you're gonna throw it out and get a new one. So what I do with this, instead of being super extra and putting a label, is I just write the department name in Sharpie on this. So anything like that, that's like an item that gets used up, you put that. I already did one bin, so I'm going to show you right now how I organized that bin, and then we'll get started on the rest of them. So this bin is where I put my steamers. I have both a industrial standing Jiffy steamer, and personally I don't recommend that you get any steamer other than this. If you're looking for a standard steamer, please make it Jiffy. I don't recommend Conair or any of those for the larger size steamers, and I've just put my name on that. These are all the parts to the steamer. And then this is a auxiliary little handheld steamer. This is a Conair. I really like this one. It's got a trigger mechanism, so you can kind of choose when the steam is on or not on. These do break pretty easily, but you can actually fix them yourself. There's tutorials on YouTube, I now know. I use this for smaller jobs when I don't want to lug around this huge heavy steamer. So for little shoots, commercials, things where there's only like one or two talent, I'll just bring this. But for the purpose of organizing my kit, I put them both in this bin. Closed it. And what I've also done is labeled the bin, and I've labeled it on every single side of the bin. Normally when these things get loaded into trucks or loaded into whatever holding space you're running wardrobe out of, or loaded into a production office, you don't know how they're going to be stacked. So you want to make sure you label every side so that no matter how they're stacked, you can still see what's in the box for whatever your viewpoint is. Okay, so this box that I'm working on now, that I've done the steamer box, is going to be laundry supplies. And I guess I'll just go through some of the things that are in this box that I think are useful. So I've already sorted through the items that I don't want to keep in here, whether I'm going to just kind of use them in my house or I don't really need them in the kit. Oftentimes what happens is the costume designer themselves will not be responsible for buying supplies for the kit. It'll fall to assistants or wardrobe supervisors, and everybody has kind of their own preferences in terms of supplies, especially when it comes to like laundry and cleaning stuff and garment care stuff. So I end up with a lot of stuff that maybe an assistant or supervisor thought is like their holy grail go-to thing that I just never use. So I'm gonna clear those out now and just have a kit that is stuff that I use. Another thing I forgot to mention that's in my supplies right now is Ziploc bags. Usually I try to reuse these, but I just bought a whole new pack of them. So I don't always go around buying a bunch of single-use plastic like this. I do reuse these for other stuff, but these are really useful for on set because they're clear and they're sealable. I use them to organize these bins. I use them to keep accessories and jewelry separate for different looks in garment bags. There's just a lot of uses. One great rule of thumb for any on-set storage is just make it clear, make it see-through. You don't want to be sifting through stuff. You want to be able to see it, and you want to be able to see it even in low light situations, because indie budget wardrobe trucks are very dark and sad. So here's some laundry stuff. First of all, we have these garment bags. These are really useful if you're doing laundry on set. What I do is I have multiples of the same size bag, and you can label them if you want with Sharpie, and you just put, each actor gets their own bag, and you put all their laundry in that bag and then you wash it together. So that way, like, each actor can have their own socks that only they're wearing and they get washed. You don't kind of mix them up between actors because it's just not nice. Next is a hair dryer, which I've also, as you can see, I've labeled Hannah Cattell costumes. Hair dryers are insanely useful, and you never know what you're gonna need it for. There have been times where you may have done a load of laundry and then the schedule changes and they need that look and you need to dry this with a hair dryer. That has really happened. Or you need to get a stain out and like you need to wet that shirt but they need to wear it in 5 seconds, so you have to dry it as fast as possible. It's always good to have a hair dryer. This is a really old beat up one. It doesn't have to be nice. This is especially also good because if you don't have a hair dryer, you end up having to ask the hair department to borrow theirs, and it's rude. Their hair dryers are often very high quality, expensive, and for hair, not for drying off clothes or whatever we're using it for. So I recommend you have this so that you don't have to inconvenience other departments asking to borrow theirs. It's just a good thing to have. Next we have starch. I barely ever use this, but sometimes my assistants like to use it. If you have a character who needs to be like super pressed, like a business suit guy, this is really good. And I haven't labeled it because it's an expendable. I've just wrote costumes as I showed you. Wrinkle releaser. Again, I don't use this that much, but I know some wardrobe supervisors who love it, so I will leave that for them. Febreze. This is Febreze Sport Extreme. You have to have some kind of odor removing thing. It is never guaranteed that you'll have time to launder costumes before you'll need them again. It's also never guaranteed that everything's going to be washable, especially if you've added distressing onto something, fake dirt, fake blood, and you cannot wash it. You gotta have Febreze. And I'm gonna label it while we're at it. Costumes. And this just prevents on-set sharing. Febreze is fine, you know, not many other people are going to use it, but if this gets left on set, or if you leave it out and somebody decides that this is everybody's Febreze, now they know it's not. Which leads me to another super important must-have in your kit, absolute hack, is cheap, crappy vodka. This, you put it in a spray bottle, don't dilute it, put it in a spray bottle as is, and it is better than Febreze. This is a secret weapon. This is if you have a very smelly actor maybe, or maybe you have something that you cannot wash and the actor has to wear it throughout the whole movie. Anything like that, spray it with this, use it just as you'd use Febreze, and once it dries, it is a better odor eliminator than Febreze. Absolute must-have. Also a lint roller. This can also go, I'm gonna write costumes on it. I'm not gonna write costumes on the vodka because who knows what people will assume. I also don't recommend that you put just a bottle of vodka in your kit. I recommend that you decant it into a spray bottle, but I don't have that right now. Lint rollers, you gotta have it. This should actually be in a set bag. You can have a smaller one in your set bag. This is mandatory. You must have. An iron. I have 2 irons. This one got ruined somewhere along the way, so this is going to go into my distressing kit to do craft related ironing since it's so dirty. This one, the plate is nice and clean, and that's going to go into laundry. After I label it. I generally don't like to iron. I like to steam things. It's just faster, it's more efficient, and it gives a more natural look because we don't all walk around with like super pressed clothes all the time. That being said, if you have a character who is like a business person or has to look really pressed, maybe they're military, you do want to have an iron because it's the only thing that's going to give you that really pressed look if you need it. But not every character needs it, so it's important to remember that. These are interesting. These are dry spot removers. This is for if you spill like oil or something greasy on clothes, you get those horrible grease stains. You can use baby powder, but if you're on set and you need to do it fast, these are really popular. It just looks like chalk. You rub it on, and you can buy these at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply. A lot of the stuff you can get at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply, the more specialized stuff. And they have a website. If you're not here in New York City, they have a website and you can order online and have it all shipped. And yeah, it's a great website. So I'm going to start another little bag for some of these laundry related stain removal items. And while I'm at it, I'm going to show you another must have in your kit. And that is shout wipes. These stopped being sold for a minute, so I don't know what's in them. I'm sure it's very dangerous, but they're the best for stain remover. You should have these in your kit here. You should have these in your set bag. You should have these lying around every single place, because if an actor gets a stain on their clothes, you gotta hit it right away with this, and it works great. I also have the Tide to Go pen. I don't think it works as well as the shout wipes, but some people really like it. I'm also gonna go through my set bag. So in addition to these big huge bins, you also want to have bags that you bring directly to set. These bins stay either on the truck or in the trailer if you're working on a bigger film, or a wardrobe holding area. These stay in there, and what you bring to set is either a big set bag or a little mini set bag. All depends on the situation. It depends on your position in the crew. When I'm designing, I usually only carry this little bag because I'll have, if I have a wardrobe supervisor or on-set dressers, they carry the big bags, and then I'm just kind of there, and in case I need to step in and help, I have some stuff. And I can go through what's in there too, but this bag has gotten insane over the years, so I'm gonna make sure to take everything out, reorganize it, make it all nice. Here's another really useful item, a little bit on the contentious side. This is a tagging gun, and this is used to replace the price tags on garments after the price tags have been removed for the purpose of returns. I have very mixed feelings about it. There is a habit in this industry of purchasing clothes, putting them on talent, using them, and then either spot cleaning or Febrezing them, re-tagging them, and then returning them. And this is a multifaceted problem that I'm sure I could make a whole other video about. It has a lot to do with low budgets. It has a lot to do with some smaller productions now expecting clothing costs to come out of designer and stylist personal pay. There's a lot going on here. However, I keep this in my kit only for situations in which I have not used a garment, but the tag has been removed. Sometimes you have actors who will mindlessly remove the tag before they try it on in a fitting. You have some actors who won't try on something that has a price tag on it because it's itchy or it's just not cute. I've had that happen. And even some designers will kind of mindlessly remove the tags from stuff during a fitting. My personal advice is, if you didn't use the garment but the tag got removed and you want to return it, have this on hand. If you use the garment, you bought the garment. I can make another video about that later, but yeah, don't try to return stuff that you've already used. It's just not helping anyone. So yeah, this is a tagging gun. There's an incredibly sharp needle there, as you can see. This really, really hurts. So please, please, please always cover it. Basically what you do is you load it with these little tags and you punch it through there, click it, and then you have a little tag through the garment. So that's how that works. Be really careful, and again, only use it if you didn't use the garment and want to return. So you can buy this at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply as well, or online. Another super important thing to have is big safety pins. I don't carry anything on set except these size. They're number 3. They're 2 inches long, as you can see. I have them in black, and they should be silver. Yeah, and silver. I have found at places like Target or Joann, you can buy these, but they're not somehow the same quality. They're very flimsy. I recommend only buying these like 10 gross industrial boxes. And again, I got these at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply. It seems like an outrageous price to pay for safety pins, but I swear they're like one of the most useful tools in this whole kit. Have a bunch. I'm going to be transferring mine to bags right now, but yeah, they're awesome. So I just found in my kit, these are the ones I was talking about. These are the crappy quality ones. These are not good enough for on set, so I will be retiring these to just be using at home and get them the heck out of my kit. So I've got a lot of sewing supplies, and I realized that I do a lot of sewing outside of on-set stuff. I don't actually do that much sewing on set, but for some reason a lot of my personal sewing supplies, all these thread and extra buttons, somehow managed to make their way into my kit, you know, just in case. So I think I'm gonna kind of separate that out and make more of a streamlined kit that is really just the stuff I would normally use on set. Super important tool is these manila tags. These are the big ones. You can usually find them at Staples. If not, you can definitely get them at Manhattan Wardrobe, and they are so useful for bagging up garment bags with the information about what's inside. They're useful for putting on return bags, or if you have to send somebody out to get something. These are really useful. They're really sturdy. Usually they're combined with our big safety pins, and they just make a perfect labeling thing. So you'll see these in every single kit. They're really good to have. Another good thing to have is all kinds of tape. This is black tape. It's usually used by other departments, but I find it really awesome to use when we're creeking, which means I might make another video about that, but it means to have to cover up a brand logo so you don't get copyright infringement. So this is really good. I have a bunch of other colors of tape, and they're pretty useful to have in the kit for all kinds of stuff, so I'm going to be keeping all of them. So I've gone through all my sewing stuff, and I'm only keeping a select few. Some threads in common clothing colors, a pin cushion, a little mini sewing kit, some extra buttons, just a few needles, scissors, and a couple of these. These are thread braids, These are insanely useful. It's pre-cut threads in a bunch of colors. It's made so you can just pull out, depending on what you need to fix, you can pull out one thread at a time, and it's the perfect length for, you know, minor on-set repairs. So this is really good to have on set. You don't have to worry about going through spools of thread. You can just pull out what you need and do the repair that you need to make at the time. And this can be bought at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply too. It's thread braid. That might be it for this box, so let's neaten it up and call it a day on this one, and on to the rest of them. Next box we have to go through is undergarments. I feel like a lot of people forget in the costume world or outside of it that we have to figure out what goes under the costumes as well and have that on hand. It's not always guaranteed that actors are going to bring their own stuff or that it's going to be the right stuff, so it's always good to have a stock, but sometimes you get too much stock. So let's see what we can get rid of. That one went together pretty fast, so we're done with the socks and underwear and ponchos and extra garment stuff. Time to move on to the next. And the crazy, most important, number one thing you must have in your kit is Topstick. This is a gentle double stick tape. Originally it was made to stick on toupees, but then people realized that it was super useful for all kinds of stuff. It's useful to keep a neckline in place. You can hem pants with it if you're in a hurry on set. You can attach microphones. It is just super useful. Again, you can get this at Manhattan Wardrobe or you can get it online. They also make fancier versions of it called sometimes a Hollywood fashion tape. You can buy these at like CVS or Rite Aid if you're in a hurry. I don't recommend them. They are not as good as Topstick. But if you're on set, you need something and there's a Dwayne Reed down the street, these will do in a pinch. Here's another tool. It's like the awl. It's a belt puncher. This is made specifically to punch holes in the leather. So if you have a stronger thing, the awl doesn't go through, or you need a bigger hole, this is really useful. It's very good for belts. It's gonna seem like it takes up a lot of space in your kit until you need it, and then it's gonna be freaking awesome. So I recommend getting one if you have room for it. So the next box I'm going through is random stock. This is all kinds of stuff like scarves, belts, suspenders. This I really want to go through a little more thoroughly at a later date, but I'm going to save it now because I'm just changing out boxes and go ahead and put it in one of these larger clear boxes. This is also my jewelry kit. I have it on one of these hanging bags. A lot of people have different ideas about how to do this. I don't know if this is my favorite method, but it's what I got, it's what I've been using. So here's my statement jewelry. Got some big Frankenfurter pearls. So we're gonna put that away. And we're also gonna put away my basics. These are my various tons of wedding bands and engagement rings. It's always good to have stock. You never know what size reenactor will be. And on a union shoot, this is technically props, but it's always good to have a backup just in case so that everyone's covered. Is just either vintage stuff or things that I made in the past that I can't bear to part with, but are really not useful to have on set. So I'm going to put them in one of these older boxes and just kind of leave it here and just wait until I'm ready to eventually throw it out. This next box is going to be all stuff to do with wardrobe racks, which seems silly, but it's super important and it takes up a lot of space. So yeah, let's get to it. We've got bungee cords. I wish I didn't have to have these in my kit, but you do. Oftentimes when you get a wardrobe truck on smaller productions, they just give you an empty cube truck. It's not built out, there's nothing in it, and you oftentimes have to bring your own racks or find a way to secure the racks yourself. So these are really good for securing the racks to the sides of the truck so that when the truck moves and drives, your racks don't go all over the place. It's also really good to secure bins in the same way. So I got a bunch of these. I have some extra hangers just in case. My favorite on-set hangers are these clear guys, both with and without the clips. I also have a variety of both. These are from Manhattan Wardrobe Supply. You can buy them in bulk. I just think they're the best for on-set. They're spinny, they have good grip, they have the little shoulder things so it doesn't fall off. Do not get velvet hangers for on set. I'll just say that now. They're super cute to have in your house. They're super low profile and convenient for home use. But if you try to use velvet hangers on set, they're just gonna break. So I don't recommend it. So these are the garment bags. Industry standard. You gotta have them all clear. You have to be able to see what's inside. You can't use dark garment bags unless whatever you're holding is sensitive to light, has like a sensitive paint or something on it. Otherwise, I recommend clear. You can get this is the short size. There's also a longer size, and there's also a size that has a gusset for really big stuff, like if you're holding a wedding dress or a big costume of any kind. Again, these are Manhattan Wardrobe Supply. You can buy them in bulk. I have a ton, so I think right now I'm going to be going through and seeing how many I really, truly need of these, because there's a bunch. Another thing you'll see a lot is these shoe bags. These are just clear bags with a drawstring, but they're super useful. You'll see them in every kit. Again, you can get them at Manhattan Wardrobe Supply. Manhattan Wardrobe Supply is not sponsoring me. They can if they'd like to, because I think I've said Manhattan Wardrobe Supply about 20 times already. They come in different sizes. It's really good to hold actors' small accessories within their garment bag. Also, of course, good for shoes. And good for anything really. Anything that's bigger than a Ziploc bag, it's good to have these. I just realized I had the fan on, so sorry if that sound was really bad. It's like 90 degrees in here and I didn't turn the fan off. Another big thing is rack dividers. These go on the wardrobe rack and divide either character or category. They're reusable, they're really good. Again, guess where? And Wardrobe Supply. Important thing to have is a wardrobe rack cover. This is really good if you, I'm not going to unfold it, but it covers the whole rack. It's waterproof. It's really good if you have to carry stuff around in the rain. This takes up so much space. The next box we're going to be going through is my distressing kit. This is a lot of stuff. This is everything you need to make clothes look old, dirty, bloody, gross. And it takes a lot of stuff, but I also feel like there's going to be a lot of doubles and unnecessary stuff in here, so fingers crossed I can get rid of a lot of it and make it fit into this little tiny box. is a pre-val sprayer. This is really useful. You can mix your own paint. You put it in the glass bottle here, and then it has changeable aerosol canisters that basically create an aerosol spray paint like effect from whatever you put inside this bottle. These things get jammed really easily. They're very finicky, but for certain applications they're really useful, and you can't just go out to the store and buy them if you need them. You have to get them from, guess where? Manhattan Wardrobe. So it's good to have in your kit, just in case. So one distressing material that's really useful are these. They're called pounce bags. Inside this canister, I'm not going to open it up because it's super dirty and gets everywhere. Inside this canister is a little cloth bag, and in that cloth bag is a bunch of colored dust. Basically what you do is, if you have anything you want to make look dirty, you take the garment that you want to make look dirty and you tap the little cloth bag on the garment, and it transfers some of this colorful dust. It comes in a bunch of different colors depending on what kind of dirt you want it to look like, and basically it's non-toxic, it's skin safe, and it washes away if you want it to. So it's really good for all kinds of stuff. It's good to have a couple colors of these, and again, and wardrobe supply. Another great thing to have is fake blood. I have a bunch of different brands. Red Rum, this little one on the left is really good. Crime Scene is really good. I'm not opening this bag because my crime scene spilled and it's gonna be kind of a mess to deal with. It's very sticky, but I wanted to show you because it's good to have a few kinds of blood just in case. They make different colors and viscosities of blood depending on what blood from what part of the body you want to recreate. Blood stuff, I could do another whole video. Blood stuff has a lot of crossover with hair and makeup and also with art, so you have to be really careful you don't step on any toes, but it's always good to have a bunch of blood in your kit just in case someone runs out or in case you need it for costumes. It's just good to have. Company that makes the pounce bags makes these. They're just called schmear sticks. They come in, they look like little deodorant canisters, and it's the same concept as the pounce bag, but it's basically, yeah, it's like a deodorant formulation. It goes on almost like a crayon. There's different colors. It's a little cleaner. You can see this one hasn't even been used. Yeah, it just goes on like, and you can make it look dirty. Another important thing to have is dye. I use a bunch of RIT dye. I have liquid dye here, and I have some powder dye here. I have probably a little too much dye, but it's a pain in the butt to get again, so I'm gonna keep it all. It's really good if you need to, you know, dye something a different color. If you have like a bunch of white shirts that you need to make a little less white, this is really useful. It just makes stuff look more aged. Yeah, it's always good to have, but careful because you can ruin so much with this. It's crazy. Another really good thing to have is leather dye and leather paints. In case you ever need to change the color of shoes or belts or anything, this is really good to have. I have maybe a little too much, but I have it, it's here. Every color can paint any color shoes, so I'm gonna keep it. Some other miscellaneous things I keep in my distressing kit: cheap hairspray and frosted glass spray paint. This is really good if you have like glasses or sunglasses or anything shiny, jewelry that's creating a glare. You can take it down either temporarily with the spray, with the hairspray, or permanently and very strongly with the paint. And this is an instant fabric paint. I can't remember what I bought this for, but it's pretty useful for onset, just in case.
always good to have sandpaper. I got a bunch of different ones and a sandpaper block. Anything will do. This is just to scratch up fabric and shoes and whatever and make it look a little more worn.
These I had in the distressing bin. There's not enough room anymore now that I switched to the smaller one, so I'm going to put these in with underwear and stuff. These are just regular cheap black towels. Always have a towel. You might need it for a shower scene, for modesty. You might need it if you get blood on your actor. It's always good to have them. It's good to have a dark color so you can just wash it easily. You just never know when you're going to need it, so always have a towel. I only bought 6, so here we are. This last bin is uniforms, workwear. I have some waiter uniforms. I'm going to leave that in this box because I don't always need it on set, so I think I'll just leave it here at home and then bring it if I need it, and keep it in this big box for now. Items it's good to have are headlamps, or my personal headlamp. These are really good if you're filming at night, if you need to run back and forth from set. There's no guarantee that things will be well lit, and again, trucks can get very dark, especially if you lose power or anything like that, so it's good to have headlamps and also a little flashlight. And also, in terms of weird on-set electronics you might want to have, this is a surveillance set for a walkie-talkie. So when you get a walkie-talkie on set, they'll often give you your own surveillance. This is, you put the little earphone in your ear, and then this is the microphone. But the ones they give you, there's no guarantee that they haven't been used or if they've been cleaned properly. So I bring my own. Plus this one looks pretty badass. So I just have my own just in case. I'm gonna put these all in their own little on-set electronics bag. So everything is moved to these nice new boxes. I should point out too, these boxes, while I like them, they're not the industry standard. I would say you could go for E-crates or the U-line clear boxes. Those are a little more heavy duty. I have the clear bins behind I'm going to repurpose for fabric I have around the house and whatever. These bins, I'm going to probably use them to put some stuff I have going on Poshmark, and then probably throw them out because they're really beat up. And the rest, I'm just going to clean this up. This all is some of the stuff I'm selling. That's more uniforms I'm going to put in the uniform bin. This stuff is all going to get moved back into the house. My set bags, I'm going to put empty in here. I might make another video about what I put in my set bag when I get to that. Yeah, I'm going to clean this up and let's get that done. Okay, so I managed to fit everything into these 6 bins. I've got one bin that's just steamers. This is all laundry, sewing, repair, and miscellaneous. That's a crammed bin.
This is all undergarments and socks and towels. This is jewelry, accessories, and my empty set bag. This is garment rack materials, manila tags, bungees, rack cover, garment bags, shoe bags, and rack dividers. This is all my distressing, aging, dying, and blood stuff.
And there you have it. First time truly cleaning and organizing my kit in 10 years. This used to be taking up a 5 by 5 by 5 foot storage space that I was paying $90 a month for. And now here it is. I don't necessarily know if I can fit all of this somewhere in my apartment out of sight, but we'll see. For now, that's it. This is about the average size, I would say, of a limited wardrobe kit for a small size production. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything in here, leave a comment. Anything I missed that's like crucial to your kit, anything that I think is crucial that you don't use, what you use instead, let me know. If you'd like to see any more videos, maybe making a set bag or going over other stuff you should buy from Manhattan Wardrobe. Until then, yeah. It's so hot. It's 90 degrees. And I did all this, so I'm gonna go have a coffee. Bye!